Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. For us who were involved in team sports, and sometimes we played soccer or we played rugby or we played, sports where involve a number of players who are in your team, like volleyball and so on. We all know that in a team, you know who's the best and who's the weakest link and who's the average person in the team. And we also know that usually the best in a team has the most to say because he's the best. So he's gonna arrange things and he's gonna be the most vocal one. And the slowest gazelle on the savannah, which is the weakest, usually shut up because he's barely making the team. So he should not open his or her mouth. Nevertheless, we have a case here where we have I would say, maybe not the slowest gazelle on the savannah, but at least the second slowest. And it's very noisy because the slowest gazelle is Lithuania, and in this case, and it has a big mouth. And the second slowest on the savannah is Poland. And Poland has a big mouth as well. And I'm talking about them in contrast with, let's say, Russia. Russia would be a strong player in the team, economically, politically, and militarily. Compared with the other two, we are the weaklings of the team, if we would put them in the same team. Nevertheless, it seems like the weaklings, the slowest gazelles, have the biggest mouth, and they challenge one of the biggest players. And there could be two reasons, but let's read this article and discuss it afterwards. This article comes from Republic World, and it's from the 26th of July 2022, because over there in Europe it's already 26th, here is 25th. So Poland to not attend events involving officials of Russia and Belarus, foreign minister said. Okay, Polish deputy foreign minister Jablonski said that Belarus supports Russia and called for isolation of both the nations from all international formats. Remember, this is the bottom feeder. In any entity, in European Union is not a big shot, in the NATO is not a big shot, in the world stage is not a big shot, but it calls for Russia to be and Belarus to be isolated. Based on what standards? Your virtuous posturing? Like you were pure. Obviously, I think they're pure. But let's go and read further. Polish Deputy Foreign Minister Paweł Jablonski on Monday, 25th of July, said that officials of Poland will not attend the events which have the participation of representatives from Russia and Belarus. Okay, bye-bye. See you, never. You isolate yourself. So what they try to do, these guys, they think they're so important, they will lead the way. But I don't think there will be others to follow unless it's going to be Lithuania, Estonia, and Latvia, and maybe another bottom feeders. So they try to be like a pathfinders or, trailblazers, the ones, that create a new way or new vision. They try to isolate Russia. The problem is, by doing this, they will not show up, everybody will show up, or most countries will show up, and who's going to isolate who? They will also isolate themselves. But nevertheless, let's see what else they want, since they are the pinnacle of virtue. He asserted that the Polish government has taken a decision as it is a fundamental element of their policy with regards to Russian military offensive in Ukraine. Like, this is the only invasion and offensive that ever occurred that Poland heard about. I haven't heard Poland saying anything about, for instance, when the United States invaded Iraq. Did they say anything? No, they participated. So they're guilty of something, aren't they? I didn't hear them condemning the bombing of Yugoslavia. Did they? No. Did they say anything about Afghanistan? No. They say about anything about Libya? No. They say anything about Syria? No. Why not? Did they say anything about the overthrow of a legitimate government in Ukraine in 2014? It was legitimate and democratically elected. Did they? No. That means they participated in it. They were in it, right? They supported it by their silence. So what's going on here? So once Poland will show balls and condemn all other invasions that were illegal, then I would give Poland a little bit of, a medal. They will score points in my eyes. I will say, oh yeah, Poland, okay, good job. You condemned United States and NATO when they bombed Yugoslavia in 1999. Good job. You condemned their alliance when attacked Iraq. Good job. You condemned the same thing in Afghanistan. Good job. You condemned NATO doing what they did in Libya, and you saw what happened to Gaddafi, and that was all orchestrated. Good job, Poland, for condemning that. You condemn many things. Good job. You condemned the illegal invasion of France, French troops, in British troops, United States troops of Syria without being invited. Good job, Poland. Oh, you didn't condemn any of this? Or you condemned only this one? I wonder why. So when you're gonna be consistent in your morality, then I would appreciate. As of now, you're about 5-0. So when you get to 5-5, to be again to the floating level, then we talk. Until then, you are just a hack. You're just a bottom feeder of the big guy across the Atlantic, the Zimbabwe. You remember? That's what you are. What do you want me to call you? What do you want me to call you? So all this, chest beating, boom, 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 Russia, 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 I mean nothing. Nothing. Why? Because your record of chest beating shows that you didn't do that when similar circumstances occurred. Okay? So I don't like this kind of hypocrisy. But let's isolate them. Did you isolate the United States by any chance? Why not? Why not? You're on their payroll. Thank you very much. All right, so we have here that it's a fundamental element. No, it wasn't a fundamental element before, only now. We know, we being people who used to be living in that area, we know how everybody loves everybody in the area. So we don't have to hide. Now you love Ukrainians that you don't like just because, they have a problem with the Russians that you also don't like. But now, my enemy is the enemy of my enemy. How should I put it? It's from two bad guys, you don't care. That's self-destruction. It's mutual destruction over there between Ukraine and Russia. So you just say, I'm going to support these ones until those collapse. And in the meantime, this one collapse. So 2 with 1 stone. Yes, good job. My God. So it says that Euro intelligence report citing Polish radio. Okay, he said that Belarus supports Russia and called for isolation of both nations from all international formats. Pavel Jablowski, the same guy, called it necessary to stop Russia from being able to act as a normal partner in international ties and stressed that Moscow is no more a normal partner. Was United States a normal partner? Was it? In 5 examples that I mentioned, was it? Did you condemn? No. So, you know what I mean? Forget about it. A normal partner. And you did not say anything about those things. Let's go back to these things. He further said that isolation is necessary as Russian President Vladimir Putin develops his policy based on the fact that he has a chance to have international ties. Well, I know you guys are frustrated because you haven't won a war since 17 something hundreds. So I know you're frustrated about that. And I know that since then until now you were continuously pounded in the butt by others and you're very upset about it. And you try at the shade of the United States right now to pay back to certain guys that paid you back for what you did to them. History is there. History is there. Who went to Moscow? I don't remember the Russians coming first to Warsaw. Who went to Moscow first? Remember? Was it the Russians coming to Warsaw, or was the Polish who went to Moscow? All right. So and then they kicked you in the teeth and kept kicking in the teeth. So obviously it's a little bit of frustration here. It is pertinent to note that here that Poland has been offering support to Ukraine ever since Moscow launched the offensive of February 24th. Yes, more than 4.7 million refugees crossed into Poland after Moscow invaded Kiev. All right. And then Poland delivered PT-91 Twardy tanks in Ukraine. Tardy tanks? On July 25th, Poland delivered a shipment of PT-91 Twardy tanks to Ukraine amid the ongoing war with Ukraine, with Russia. We are very grateful to our Polish friends. Earlier in April, Poland had provided around 200 T-72 tanks to Ukrainian armed forces in its fight against Russia. And then what they do? They ordered American weapons. So yeah, thank you very much. So you see, this kind of hypocrisy from these guys are a great example that they think people forget their sins. They always bring back, the Ribbentrop-Molotov, the pact between Soviet Union and Nazi Germany. Always bring it, like how they discussed to, portion Poland, but they never talk about their pact with the Nazi Germany to get the northern province of Czechoslovakia when the Germans invaded the Sudetenland and went all the way. The Polish army got its part over there, the same thing as Soviet Union did with the Nazis. They did with the Nazis before the Soviet Union did it. Hello? Yes? No? That's history. You don't like it? You don't like it, but it's there. You did the same thing, and you did it before the Soviets did. So how can you tell me you're better than the other guys? So the same here. You didn't condemn those guys, but all of a sudden you condemn Russia for doing something that the other ones did five times. 5 times? 4 times? 5 times. Because I gave you Yugoslavia, I gave you Iraq, I gave you Afghanistan, I gave you Syria, I gave you Libya. Did I miss anything? But that's how what happens. One of the slowest gazelles on the savannah has a big mouth, roars like a lion. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. They all think they're pure. That's the problem. They think they're all virtuous and pure. Nobody is virtuous, nobody is pure, unless you are a divinity somewhere.